All right, Regal Movie Theaters is going under. What does that mean for multiple industries and in Hollywood? Let's find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the newsroom. I'm your host, Neil Winteregg, joined as always by Dr. Greg Winteregg, CEO of Matterhorn Business Development. You can find out more about him and his book, Fun at Work, down below. On this edition of the newsroom, we are talking about Regal Movie Theaters. And basically what we do on the newsroom is find a topic, and then we try and discuss it amongst ourselves and with you and try and actually maybe teach you something new, teach you something different. Now,
or they can also comment and tell us how stupid we are.
Yes. That only happens on the AB5 videos because we're paid by Uber on their behalf to promote.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
I forgot about that Uber check that comes in every month.
Cut that out. So, I haven't gotten mine for like 8 months.
I haven't either. It's like,
anyway, so moving on to the next topic here. We're going to talk about Regal Movie Theaters today. Regal is actually closing its doors. They were the second largest movie theater chain. I know in the US, I don't know about how big they were worldwide, but they're closing down worldwide. AMC was the leader, and now AMC doesn't have any competition because Regal is done. Apparently what happened was the James Bond movie kept getting pushed back. Then they decided to wait till next year. That was the last straw. Regal's like, we don't have any money. We were hoping that James Bond was going to be really good and make us some cash. And now they don't have any cash. So they are actually closing down. So this is pretty interesting as we're seeing these effects in these industries.
This is collateral damage.
Yeah.
And, you know, to just like stay out of any controversy on COVID, it is what it is right now. Mm-hmm. But as people are making decisions to close businesses and shut down schools and that kind of thing, they need to kind of get in a helicopter and just take a very, very broad look at the collateral damage. And this is not an AB5 video, but we've made several videos about the collateral damage of that one piece of legislation.
Right.
And so my concern from the very beginning is that people who have not run businesses are now making decisions to shut down businesses. People who have always had a guaranteed income are now making decisions to close down businesses that produce.
Right.
And so when you get in front of a city commission, a county commission, you know, some state organization, and they're going to shut things down, time out, we need to take a look at the collateral damage. So if we just look at this, so we shut down Hollywood, the state of California, we shut down Hollywood. Now there's no paid actors, there's no movies being released, and now we shut down, that ends up 8 months later, 6 months later, shutting down the number 2 in the industry. That's incredible collateral damage. And people need to stand back as they're saying, oh, just randomly, oh, do this, do this. The person who's just randomly saying shut it down is probably sitting there with a guaranteed paycheck in an industry that is considered essential. Mm-hmm. And so I think everybody just needs to take a deep breath right now, because pretty soon the cure is worse than the disease.
And that's where I feel like things have moved to. Now, again, this isn't a political video.
Not at all.
Although you're going to not believe me and call me dumb in the comments. Happens every day. But from a business perspective, from a perspective of what grants the ability for people to be able to go out and work for themselves or for an employer, what makes the most sense? And what doesn't make sense is that we have airlines packing people into airplanes, but we're closing down the movie theater.
Right.
My wife just flew from here to Denver last week on her way to San Francisco. Every seat on the plane was full from here to Denver. Now, funny enough, going from Denver to San Francisco, it was completely empty because nobody wants to go there with forest fires and other stuff going on. But like, why can we pack people into a tiny airplane, but we can't socially distance inside of a movie theater and just let the movies come out the way that they're supposed to? Well, too many people get all caught up in this, that, and the other detail, but we're not comparing things from one thing to the next. It's very much a knee-jerk reaction that's closing these industries. And now all of those people that were working for Regal don't have a job.
Right.
So this is another consequence, and another consequence that if you look at it from that helicopter view, you might start to realize there's a problem.
So my point, my summary of this for me is before taking any particular stance or just like blurting out an opinion, stand back and take a look at the consequences of that decision, the broad consequences. So now all these employees, the employees were laid off, but now they are fully unemployed with no chance of getting reemployed. Well, how many families does that affect? How many kids are not going to go to college? How many cars aren't going to be bought? How many homes aren't going to be built? Like, this has collateral damage.
Right.
And so we need to stand back and just really take a broad look at all the effects it's creating on everyone, because this is sad.
And in reality, this is going to be an industry changer for movie theaters.
Oh, for sure.
I think. I mean, we're going to be feeling the gap of big blockbuster style movies in 2 years. Next year, we're going to have big blockbusters. Top Gun's coming out. It was supposed to come out already.
Right.
James Bond, that was supposed to be out already.
Yep.
We're going to have those next year. We'll be like, oh, good. We finally have blockbusters again.
Yeah, but
what
they're
about
not
the
making
next
the
year?
next year right now. There's no films
The
being made.
movie theaters are having a rough 2 to 3 years ahead of them of like this. And I think that it's also proven that we can stay home and get brand new movies streamed to us through Amazon and Disney, to where is the movie industry actually going to come back? Or did this speed up the demise of the dinosaur movie theaters?
It may be the demise.
The 20 megaplexes might only need 6 screens in
Right.
reality.
Yeah.
Well, what about the other 14? What do we do with those? This is like shopping malls and Amazon all over again. This might have sped up the demise of this. So it is interesting to me.
There is going to be a pivot point. There is an opportunity in here somewhere. Right now, I'm not in that industry, so I'm not looking for that. But every entrepreneur...
You want to buy a movie theater?
Yeah, really. You can get it dirt cheap.
All the popcorn you want.
Pennies on the dollar. But again, this is something where, as an entrepreneur, take a look for opportunity. There is an opportunity in here. I don't think it'll show itself for another couple of years, like you say. But before taking a hard stance on shutting down a school or a business or an event, there's collateral damage that does need to be taken into account.
Well, I think that if I could pick up a movie theater for dirt cheap, let's say I could pick up a movie theater and the equipment, all that stuff, I have an infinite amount of ideas of what you could do with your own movie theater. If you were on your own movie theater and you weren't governed by somebody's rules and regulations about how Regal movie theater is supposed to do things, I'd be airing the Super Bowl, the Indy 500. I mean, I would do so much more. I just turn it into a giant 8-theater man cave. You know what I mean? Do whatever you want to do it. There's so much opportunity that exists if an entrepreneur gets a hold of it.
Right.
But you see, AMC, Regal, these places, they aren't entrepreneurs.
Right.
They're corporations. I think the entrepreneur has the opportunity to do something with 500
I think it's a great idea.
Movie theaters closing. You can do something with that space.
I think it's a great idea.
You could do something with that space.
And somebody will.
And then you can give me a royalty for giving you the idea. That would be awesome. You can contact me down below.
And you know what? You're going to get as much from them as we're getting from Uber right now.
Yes.
It'll match.
Yes. Well, that's all we have to say for today. Hopefully we have better news for you on the Newsroom next time. If you learned something new, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next week on the Newsroom.